Hey, good evening all. This is Manikantan here. Is it my voice is audible? Is it my screen is able to view?
Yes, audible.
Hey, good evening guys. This is Manikantan here. Is it my voice is audible?
Yes, Mani, audible.
Audible. Okay. Shall we get started? Or we'll wait for a minute?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay, let's get started for today's topic. It is AWS. Okay. So before starting to this particular topic, let me just understand what is the level of understanding about this AWS. Some of them in the webinar can just tell about me so that based on that I can able to take it further on that. Can somebody describe what is your level of understanding about AWS?
Mani, this is Dinesh here. Up to my understanding, AWS is Amazon Web Services.
Everyone can talk. It should be an interactive session.
Sorry? Can you hear me? Is my voice audible?
Yes, Dinesh, we can.
Okay, I think Mani alone is not able to hear.
Yeah, I can able to hear you now. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Up to my knowledge, AWS is Amazon Web Services. They provide, they have cloud space, and they sell that cloud space to whoever wish to store their data in cloud.
Okay.
So this leads to save the cost. If they are storing multiple TBs of data in actual machine, their maintenance cost will be more.
Okay.
Choosing cloud services, they can reduce the cost, maintenance cost.
Okay. Do you aware of what is GoDaddy? GoDaddy.com.
Yeah, in advertisements, I just saw that GoDaddy.com. You can create websites in that.
Right. Websites and all where they are posting.
No, I don't know that.
Okay. Can somebody tell me what is GoDaddy and where is the website now? So the websites are stored in the web service.
Actually, yeah. Actually, it is a set of cloud environment wherein data will be hosted in a virtual machine which is present in the particular data center of AWS. And what is it? All infrastructure and other set of services are provided by them based on demand in terms of payment. And even administration of those services will be done over through the web architecture and what is it, a various set of controls which AWS is providing. And in similar way, GoDaddy is holding the same kind of what is it, web services, what is it, business in terms of cloud.
Okay, fine. That's a good intro. Thanks for that. Okay, so let me tell about the what's the difference between AWS and then GoDaddy and other services. Okay, the cloud computing technology is totally a different technology. Okay, there is a 4 different ways in the cloud technology. There is a platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, application as a service, and mobile as a service. So there are 4 to 5 different varieties of there in the cloud computing. I'll deeply go through about that. But today we'll mainly focus what are the various AWS services are available, what is exactly AWS. We'll, from the basic level of understanding, we'll get starting about that. So before that, I'll move to the another slide, so that will give you the more intro of that. So this is one of the slide in the internet I just want to show. Okay, so who is Amazon.com? Amazon.com is many people aware of that e-commerce website, right? For anything you can able to buy through Amazon.in, Amazon.com, right? You guys aware of that Amazon.com?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a company, they start into the IT services. They're not only into the e-commerce business platform, they also are into this particular platform of cloud computing or AWS services. This company started in the year of around 2006 and 8 that time. So it's almost 10 to 15 years of time. This company has been started on this cloud platform. AWS service is not started today or yesterday or maybe last year or before that. It's almost 10 years back it started, and gradually now they have added the many services. We are going to deeply study about that today. One by one we'll study. Okay. So the Amazon.com, they are doing the seller business, consumer business, and Amazon Web Service is one of the IT infrastructure business. That's one of the unit of Amazon. They are doing the business of IT infrastructure business. Very clear on this? The Amazon.com comes under the consumer business, selling the products, selling the goods, B2B activities, seller business. That comes into the Amazon.com. Amazon Web Service is the totally IT infrastructure business activities. Is that clear? Okay. Before going to the cloud computing, I want to show some other slide to you. Okay. So what are you understanding about the cloud computing? What is a cloud computing? Why they name it as a cloud computing? Can anybody describe that? Computing, we are aware of that. Why they have to name as the cloud computing? Why they are not named as Manikantan computing or Raja computing? Or why they have to put it as a cloud name?
Accessible anywhere with internet.
It is accessible anywhere, but it is present within a single network. What is it? Infrastructure is virtually present in a single network.
Okay, that's good. So let's go back to the this slide so that I'll explain you more deeply. Okay. So let's understand about Amazon. Whatever the slide I shown that's Amazon.com, they're into tens of millions of active customer accounts. Okay, tons of millions of accounts of customers. They're into 8 countries: UK, US, German, Japan, France, Canada, China, and Italy, and also in India. Okay? So they have the consumer business. Okay, seller on the Amazon, there's a totally different technology. They have the Amazon technology in the retail websites through the Amazon.com selling business happening. So these are the two different activities they are performing. The IT infrastructure business, they are majorly into the cloud computing infrastructure for hosting web scalable solution. Okay, here the hundreds of thousands of registered customers across the over 190 countries, they are providing the IT infrastructure services. So let's understand more into the utility computing. So before moving to the cloud computing, we need to understand about utility computing. So utility computing is different, cloud computing is different. Okay, the utility computing is the on-demand services, uniform, pay as you go, and availability. Okay, if any company is running the business on the software level or hardware level, they need every day the business changes will happen. Sometimes they need a computer of 50 computers, sometimes they need 100 computers. Their business need to be grow, right? So if company started in 2010 and if they gradually grow in 2011 and 12, 13, 14, the company growth size need to be grown, right? So 500 employees need to be grown to 1,000 employees. 1,000 employees need to go to the 2,000 employees, right? So when they're growing in the scalable pattern, consider each and every country, many startup companies will be started and many MNC companies will be. So those people will be on-demand services need to be fulfilled and they cannot able to invest huge money for this kind of infrastructure. Infrastructure will demand for the company operating cost almost 50 to 60% cost will happen on the only on the infrastructure services. Okay, so that's why the utility computing, somebody will provide the services, on-demand services what they require, and pay as you go, which is the whatever the infrastructure you're using, only for that you can able to pay for that money. For example, if we are purchasing 200 terabytes or 20 terabytes of hard disk, but you are going to use only for 1 terabyte for your this particular month, you can pay only for 1 terabytes of database services what you consume. So you no need to pay for, no need to invest for another 20 GBs of data bandwidth, okay, terabytes of bandwidth. And availability should be availability of 99.99% of availability should not be there. And uniform, the consumer, whoever is consuming this particular services, that should be in a uniform way, need to come. Okay. So second thing is on the utility computing, the infrastructure perspective, there is an on-demand infrastructure, pay as you go, that's one we have discussed, the server availability and the service availability, and then uniformity. So uniformity means it need to be always in a stable manner, synchronized manner it need to come. So this utility computing can be connected via the API services. Okay, that's why the Amazon Web Services, it's a web service. Through web services is connecting through some web API. Through web API we are connecting this infrastructure. They have the data center across the global locations, and through that we are going to consume these particular infrastructures for our business need. So on-demand computing and pay-as-you-go and availability and uniformity majorly initially started with the around 30 to 40 services of cloud computing, and currently Amazon offering 285 plus consuming services across the global location. Okay, first thing, what are the things that we required for a on-demand services? We required for storage. For example, any company, what are the things they require? The company required for computing power, anything need to be scalable computing, it should be scaling, and then should be security perspective, and then they should need to back up their data, and they should need to store the SQL server or Oracle, some databases need to be there, and storage need to be there, and they should need to monitor all their activities, and networking should need to be there, and messaging services need to be there, and load balancing need to be there, and workflow, CDN, content delivery network. So these are the important stuff are required for the normal computing services. Normally people will tend to use them. But only these services are people will normally tend to use? No. There are hundreds of services are there. We'll learn end to end of that, and also we'll try to create how to create an AWS services. What are the various AWS services are available? First thing, what are the countries these AWS services are available, and why we have to have these AWS services? Okay, so consider across the global location, we have.
Money.
Yes.
Slide is not loading. It is loading some webcams.
Slide is not loading? One second, let me check. For others, is that my slide is not loading?
For me, it is visible.
I'm showing a global.
We're able to see a map, world map.
That's one more. I'm showing this one. Okay. So can somebody tell me what are the clients you have, in which region they are having the clients? Can somebody describe who are all your clients, which location they are belongs to? One or two people, can you tell about your clients? Not the client name, but which location they are belong
Um, Actually, my project is like we are working on with cloud computing.
to?
And, the client belongs to what is it, various geos across the world. And we are operating in 5 different geos with the twin data centers. And, mostly customers choose their location based on their headquarters and the close proximity.
Mm-hmm.
And majorly they also based on their period in which they will have a business time.
Okay, so normally whoever is in India customer, they might be available in the either Europe location or a US region or the Asia Pacific regions, kind of way they tend to be available. So still there is a South Africa, still it is growing, and then North America is still growing. And consider the other regions when the people using the computing power or the end user consuming many things, when you're checking, so that is the region specific. The data centers are available, the Amazon data services are available, even though you are doing the offshore development over there in India, whatever the work you are going to deploy or the consumer, for example, the banking application or healthcare application for any kind of services, that is going to be the consumer is going to be available in the US based region, Europe based region, Australia based or Singapore based or Asia Pacific location based, right? So these Amazon services are available in 10 regions and then 26 availability zone, and then you can have 56 edge location. So wherever you have these stuffs, you can able to access your cloud service wherever you are in the world. Okay, so that's one important thing I want to showcase. Okay, so what is the meaning of scalability? So do you aware of, anybody is aware of what is the ITL process or maybe a data center? Can somebody describe what is the ITL or data centers before moving to AWS?
Actually, ITL is a IT infrastructure library,
Yes.
which holds the process-wise explanation on how to do various set of activity or technical tasks which we intend to do on a day-to-day basis infrastructure administration. For example, various set of tasks which come into picture as incident management, problem management, availability management, change management, and release management, configuration items, and also configuration management, capacity management, etc. And it also not only involves a set of rules to do a work on a daily basis, it also holds a set of rules which explains how what is it, the task should be done on a daily basis, based on what is it, it is very much in depth about it. It is developed in I think 1980s in London to make sure that the IT service and support is delivered in an effective manner. And to be frank, it is a set of rules and regulations to be followed whenever we say that we are following a process to get a technical work done.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'll tell you about the ITL. It's IT infrastructure library, which is a service. Whenever we are doing IT services, this is a standard across the global. IT information infrastructure library is one of the standard which is followed across the global location. So this particular thing, they have 5 different areas of service. One is the IT service strategy, IT service design, IT service transitions, and IT operation and continuous improvement stage. These 5 different directions only, this any kind of global level of IT infrastructure, they have to define their server, they have to define their service, they have to define their infrastructure, they have to define their service desk, they have to define their call center, they have to define any kind of support services they are offering to the business objective through the hardware part or any infrastructures. They have to define these 5 different standards of this process only. They have to define this ITL. So there is the ITL version 3 certifications are available. So these certifications can be possibly for who's already into the IT infrastructure background, they can go for this certification. So service design and service strategy and all. So whenever you are defining any kind of large capacity of IT services, so there you have to focus on the capacity, service availability, service catalog, IT support services, supplier management, who are going to be procure the software and hardware, how to procure the software and hardware, capacity management, demand management, how your company is growing, based on how you have to scalable this infrastructure you need. Then what are the services, security stuff you have to manage, how you have to manage the information security. There are so many infrastructure security management policies are there, how to manage those. There are service level agreement for the end user customer for banking application, for healthcare application, for any kind of application you are providing. How much of the service level agreement, SLA point you have to follow, those also will be there in this particular infrastructure side. And service transition is available on the change management, service validation, knowledge management, transition planning, and demand management. Those things will be majorly comes into the picture. And also there is a release management and deployment management. Any software like a banking or application, you cannot simply host into a production server. So before putting into the production server, there is so many other releases will happen. There is a release will happen, deployment will happen. So many servers will be need to be deployed over these need to be disaster recovery need to be set up. So those kind of things will be major process into the comes into the ITL process. And service operations will comes into the process of any problem management, any incident management, service desk, technical desk, help desk, IT operation management. So those things will comes under the how to set up those things will comes into the service operation. So these are the major processor or which has been defined by OGC. That's a company which is in the Europe and then UK. It is there. So they have defined this particular thing in the IT infrastructure world. Okay. So based on that, you understand there is an IT data center need to be set up. Before that, I'll just show you what is a data center. Then you can able to understand. If somebody is not aware of what is the data center, I'll explain you. Data center is a group of servers where they will deploy, they will manage. It's a large network collection. For example, if somebody is having the this kind of network system, this is called data center. Okay, they'll maintain thousands of computer of servers in the particular location with an AC facility with a server and rack and node. These capacity they will manage of end to end and monitor the hardware part, software part of end to end. That's called IT infrastructure. Okay. These are the ways any kind of biggest company they will maintain their own server. They have their own people will work on the IT infrastructure side based on the managing the end-to-end servers and then the hardware parts. Okay, so this is how this. But when you are setting up this kind of infrastructure, it will cost huge crores and crores rupees of this setting up this kind of hardware setup and then software setup, because even if you set up this kind of services, okay, after 5 years of time or after 10 years of time, this technology will be no longer available. For example, Pentium technology, if we set up the 10 years back about Pentium technology, now this technology is no longer available. Pentium 3, Pentium 5, i3, i5, dual core, so many technologies were crossed, right? So even if somebody is setting up the infrastructure, they have to switch over to the latest technology or the server capacity or hardware storage. 10 years back, there is no terabytes or petabytes. So now they have to be upgrade each and every time they have to, every 3 years once, they have to upgrade their server, they have to upgrade their service. So it costs more. Okay, when they're setting up the data center, it will cost more That is also need to be think about when we are setting up the infrastructure point of view. Okay, so this is called data center. Okay, in the rack they will maintain a, it's called blade server. Each and every server in the ITL world they will call it as a blade server. Blade. So they can able to keep put their servers in the rack. Simply just mount it, and then they'll connect the jack, and then they'll do the operations of networking. Okay, Google servers, they'll keep adding every minute they'll keep on adding the servers as well as the network storage. They'll keep adding them. So this is called infrastructure data center. Clear on this? Any questions on this? Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. So now we'll move back to what is the cloud computing. So cloud computing in the data center, the servers, the blade systems, blade servers are there, right? In the blade servers, we will put the three layers. One is the IT infrastructure and platform and application, and then mobile. There are 4 different cloud computing platforms are available, but normally people will say infrastructure, platform, and application, but there are 4 to 5 cloud computing technologies are there. I'll explain on that also. Okay. The first thing we'll understand, cloud computing is the new form of internet-based computing where the shared computer processing resources and computer for other devices on-demand services can be available. So cloud computing means you are able to share resource pool, like a car pooling, how you are doing. One person they will set up their servers, one person they will set up the infrastructure. Other people, if they are setting up the cost, it is taking for 100 crores rupees or 10 crore rupees for setting up one single small data center. If they are investing 10 crore rupees, if they are earning that much of time, or are they able to, but they need only for this year, they want only the demand is only for 10 server, but they are forecasted it may required for next 3 years down the line, they required for 30 server, but they invested now itself, and then they have built it in a bigger data center due to their forecast. They invested 10 crore rupees and they build the data center. Now if they want to renew, maybe if they want to recover their money what they invested, they cannot able to recover what is if they utilize only their infrastructure or only their application. So they can able to give that particular services to other people also in a private cloud or public cloud model. Okay? There is 2 different way of model is there, so that they can earn the money based on what is the server, what is the hardware part they are having. They can able to give as a pay as you go model. Somebody can utilize their infrastructure for time being, and then they can pay for that service. Okay, so this particular service model is called infrastructure as a service. It's called IaaS, infrastructure as service. And second one is the platform as service. Okay, and third one is the software as service, and fourth one is the security as service, and fifth one is the mobile backend as a service. There are totally 5 different model of cloud computing are available. But normally people will say it's an infrastructure service and platform as service and then application as service. So only 3 models they will say.
Data centers.
Come again?
For infrastructure as a service, we need some data centers or this cloud.
Yes, correct. So for the whatever the data center I specified, right? For that will comes into picture of infrastructure as service. And next one is the platform as service, which comes into any kind of platform you are building. For example, Hadoop is one of the platform. .NET is one of the platform. AWS also is just a platform. And few things is comes into the software as service. So many things you can able to showcase as a platform also service also can give it as a pay as a go model. And if you build one biggest software, if the licensing cost is around, for example, Microsoft Word. If you're buying that license cost, if it is 7,000 rupees, but when you install on your machine, you're going to use only the monthly 20 times only you are going to open the Word document and then you are going to edit the document. In such a case, your utilization is very less for your Microsoft Word. Rather, you are purchasing license for particular 2 years of time or 1 year of time for 7,000 rupees. You can go for a pay as you go. For $10 of rupees also you can able to go for as a pay as you go model. Okay, so this deployment model totally three different. So in the infrastructure as service or any other model, there are 3 to 4 different model services are there. It's called private cloud and public cloud and hybrid cloud. So these three different models are available in the cloud computing. Okay, so let's go by the what is the private cloud, what is the public cloud, all those things. Okay, so now you can see over here the private cloud. Some people they have they want to provide government banks, right? The government banks or any other secured premises, they cannot able to offer for any other people to if any banking transactions are happening. They cannot able to provide the services to other companies or external vendors. Then they can able to create a private cloud model where this demand and services will be little costly, but those servers or services only you can use. Okay, so that's called private cloud model. And second one is the public cloud model, where this infrastructure will be in a shared model. Anyone can able to public person can use their services or server or hardware or application or storage. Anybody can publicly can able to access. One of the public cloud model is called AWS, Amazon Web Service. Okay, and similar to Amazon Web Service, Google also is having their own web services. Google also having their own public cloud services. Microsoft is having their own cloud services. IBM has they have their own public cloud access. So each company is having their own public cloud services where they can able to access this particular cloud networking. Okay. The third kind of technology is called hybrid cloud computing, where it is combination of private as well as the certain level of public. Okay, then if somebody is offering a private cloud as well as public cloud, certain services they'll go for some secured things. They'll go for a private cloud service. Non-secure things they will deploy into they will consume into the public kind of services. So they'll do the combination of services. Then it's called hybrid cloud computing. Okay, so there are three different models you can able to understand about this particular stuff. Clear on this? Try to close.
Yes.
Let's move on. Okay. So any question on this particular private and public cloud and hybrid cloud?
For three of these, we need to pay, right?
Yeah, for all these things we have to pay, but private cloud will be it's a secured mode. It's you can only the use and others cannot able to use. It is costly. Private cloud environment is costly, and public cloud environment is the lesser cost or maybe very cheap when you compare to the private cloud. And if anybody's company like a banking application software deployment, they have to build their own data center. Okay, they will not come forward for cloud computing. If some customer they demand, okay, I want to go for if you are providing these security policies, each country they have their own security policy on the data. Somebody taken their country data, what you'll do? Because it's all money related, healthcare related, or many public data are need to be transaction is happening every second, then they will not allow for a cloud computing at all. They have to build their own infrastructure data center into their premises, and they have maintained a disaster recovery in the other continental or other countries. For example, in US location, if they have um, if they have in New York, they have the office, they have the data center over there, and their disaster recovery may be in our India, Mumbai location. If something happen on there in US, any building blasting or any other natural disasters happen, immediately their services need to start from our Mumbai office. The backup services need to be start from their network, from the disaster recovery network. And public network can be accessed anywhere location based on the region, based on the other CDN networks. They can able to connect. The services can be taken over there through the cloud, through the internet. All the cloud computing can be accessed through internet.
Okay.
So this private network, private things only for on premises, for internal. It is only for your purpose. None of the other company cannot able to enter into your network. Off premises is like a shared network. Your location, your login is for if 500 GB, 1 terabyte of hard disk is there. At 1 terabyte hard disk you can able to use for 500 GB. Remaining 500 GB can be used by some other company. That's called shared network. Clear on this?
Yes.
Okay. So let's move on to the, so far what we understand about is, we have understand about the ITL process. There's a 5 different ways of ITL process there. One is the ITL service strategy, ITL service design, ITL service transition, ITL service operation, and then ITL continuous service. These 5 services are used for IT infrastructure design and deployment activities. And cloud computing is one of the model.
Manikant,
Yeah.
Manikant, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to can you share a few examples for hybrid cloud?
Yeah, hybrid I'll just explain. So hybrid is the combination of private, internal, and public network. When some services on premises, if somebody is using, they want to do some security related activities, they'll maintain there into private cloud networking. Okay, because if they are into very large organization, they want to perform certain storage, all these things in their application deployment, everything in their private network, private cloud network. In their daily activity, somebody want to use the Skype services or deployment database services or any other internal operations, those kind of things they can put into their public cloud services. If they want to test some application, all those things they'll do it in a public cloud environment. When some company they are purchasing private cloud network also and public network also, combination of per service they consume, it's called hybrid model. Few companies they'll go for, most of the companies will go for in a cloud computing model, public cloud model only, and very few companies they'll go for a private or internal. It is like a building their own infrastructure data center in their premises. Public cloud network is these data centers will be available across the geographical location. People can be able to access. So if their service is giving any login ID for private cloud network, only you can able to access all the service. You have to pay for full cost for that particular services you have to pay. And public cloud networking, you no need to pay for a full services. They'll provide a catalog model. How much you are consuming, only that much a bill you will get for every month. So hybrid is the combination of private cloud, public cloud, some services if you consume, then it is called hybrid model.
Manik, this is Dinesh here.
Yeah, Dinesh.
Though it is named as private, still it will be in cloud only.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Okay. So we'll move back to the original slide. Okay, I have the one interesting book on this, Amazon Elastic Computing. Okay, this is around 600 pages of book. I'll share if possible. We are going to understand about what is EC2 and other platform, all this, how to set up EC2 and all. We'll do one by one. Okay. So now we understand about cloud computing, right? First of all, we have to understand the cloud computing. Then only we can move further on the the AWS. Okay. So any questions on cloud computing? So cloud computing, through cloud computing, you can do the elastic capacity. Elastic capacity means you can increase your services, and it is very quick and access through internet. You can simply log in and connect the 10 GB, 100 GB, 10 terabytes, 1 petabyte. How many petabytes you want, you can able to access in a single login. Pay as you go model. How much you are consuming, that much you can able to, you can pay that. There is no need of initial investment, and you can do the reusable components and automation stuff through the cloud computing platform. Are you clear on this? Cloud computing concept clear? So elastic capacity, either you can increase your service also. For example, this week your company is holiday. Okay, you don't want to consume your services, means you can reduce your capacity for that particular week, and later when you are reusing, then you can increase your capacity. That much also you can do in a scaling down also in a minute. Okay, if something, if you're the peak time, some deployment production is happening on a particular day, you assume that there are 1 lakh people, they are going to consume your application. During that peak time, you can easily manage, scale up your infrastructure in a single minute of time. It's called elastic capacity. Clear on this?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll move back to the AWS slides. That's important. Okay. So now we understand what is on the left side part, this blade server, and then the networking, the data center part, right? So to build this particular infrastructure, it may cost you around 7 billion. Okay, this AWS add the equivalent of infrastructure every day to support global 7 billion rupees of investment of infrastructure. They keep adding on every day. Okay, that cannot be a company, a small company or mid-level company. They cannot able to invest for that much of money for their infrastructure, but they can able to pay for a very small amount. They can able to consume that. Okay. So now we'll understand about the architecture of AWS. Okay.
Manikant,
Yeah.
how many locations AWS having their
So currently
just
they are
to
into
become
10 regions, and they are available in 26 available zones. Zones means it's not one region. So they are available in 190 countries. These AWS services are available in 190 countries.
so 10 regions means they have 10
10 continental, yeah, across the global they have.
the same setup of infrastructure and in
Yes.
10 different regions, right?
Yes, right.
Oh, that's useful.
And they have the 26 availability zone and 52 edge locations.
Okay.
Mani, can we, what is the difference in that edge location availability zone?
Yeah, I'll
Um,
explain. When you're moving forward, I'll explain you on this.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So now we have to understand when this AWS is started, what are the services are they able to offering, why people are keep on calling us AWS, we'll understand that first. Okay. First of all, AWS is the Amazon Web Service. These can be accessible through web. Through internet, you can able to access many services which are available in the internet. The Amazon Web Server, their infrastructure company, they are not only providing the infrastructure as service, they are providing platform as service, they are providing application as service, they are providing all kind of services they are offering. That's why AWS is more popular. We have Microsoft Cloud Platform, also it's called Azure. Okay, they are also providing most of the web services in the cloud environment model. Okay, first thing, AWS is started in the year of 2008. They started for building the Amazon EBS and Amazon Cloud Front. This Cloud Front is one of the most important stuff in the web related servers. For example, during 2006, 2005, during that time, many web servers are built. .NET web services or Java web services keep on their building. Many websites has been built across during the 2000 to 2005. So during that time, what they have faced the challenges is, for example, if you are checking for Amazon.com or Flipkart.com, the many consumers are accessing their website from different region. For example, Amazon.com they have, Amazon.India they have. So which website you will access more? Amazon.US is there, Amazon.UK is there, Amazon.India is there. Which location site you will access more?
India only.
Okay, you are from your India, you are accessing only the Amazon.in. But the servers are available in the US. These companies belong to US company. They have deployed your website in the US region server. If I'm asking the UK region people, they'll say, I never access Amazon.in, I'll access only Amazon.UK. Because that particular region people, they'll access only their own website of where it's deployed, means that is also maybe deployed in the US region. Okay, but the access location every time when it is going, hitting the server and client server technology, and when server is responding back to the UK, it will take little slowness on their services, and when they are consuming very large services, when they're consuming, it is taking a time consuming process. So the cloud front is the one of the CDN kind of way which will provide offering you the replication of your services. It's a replication, the nearest syncing of your entire website. It can be in the local mode. Okay, it can able to access in the local mode, so that anybody hitting the server will not go back to your US server. Rather, it will go back to the nearest server which is available in the UK. There you have the replication of your server, replication of your website. That will give you the first level of that will provide you the load balancing, or load within a minute, load within a second of time to load your website. Rather, it is going back to your US region and getting back to that. So there the cloud front will be the role play in the content delivery network. For example, if I'm using Facebook.com or Google search if I'm doing, or product search I'm doing for an Amazon.com or Flipkart.com. So each image is loading for, each image is having around 300 KB. Consider in one single page I have to view for around 20 products to 30 products. So if you put that 20 product into 300 KB, it becomes around 3 MB file. So 1 minute of time, if 1 lakh customer, if they are visiting, my server need to respond back the JPG file of 1 lakh into 3 MB file, around how much of memory you can just calculate. That much of memory capacity need to read from the server, need to respond back to your consumer. Okay, so that's why the CloudFront will be providing the content delivery network from the different region. These contents will be synced and then it will deliver for you. It will not read from the one single server. It will read from the replicated of multiple region server. It will provide you that. So during that time, they started the service called in 2000 Amazon CloudFront. Okay, in 2009, they have added the elastic load balancing and auto scaling, and Amazon VPC and Amazon RDS, relational database services. It's called our normal MS SQL or Oracle. You no need to buy this license. You can simply go and access their own relational database management tool. That's a level of, but this RDS is their own databases. I'll explain more into that. It's not our Oracle or SQL server. You don't need to purchase license also, but you can able to consume whatever the operation you're performing on this particular license-based tools. You can able to use this RDS, Amazon RDS. Okay, that services started in the year of 2009. And third one is they started in the very important stuff is called Route 53. Amazon Route 53. Okay, so that also we are going to discuss more into in a server specific how we are going to define the Route 53 and Amazon SNS, Amazon Identity and Access Management. And 2011 they started in the Amazon SES, Amazon Elastic Beanstalk, and AWS Cloud Formation. The cloud formation is very important. Amazon Elastic Cache is important. AWS Direct Connect and Go Cloud. These are the services they increase from 24 to 82 services within 4 years of time. That much of a double their services, triple their services in the year of 2011. After 2011, the real cloud computing era started. After 2010 time, the real cloud computing has been used by the many across the global location companies. This company rapidly growing from the 2011. Okay, so in 2012 they tried to add it not only for infrastructure as services, they tried to offer the platform as services, application as services, and mobility as services. Many services, whatever is available on the cloud computing, they are trying to provide the services. In 2012 they offered the AWS storage gateway, Amazon DynamoDB, Amazon Cloud Search, Amazon SWF, and then Amazon Redshift. It's important. Redshift is important one, and Amazon Data Pipeline and Amazon Glacier. So these are the stuff they have introduced in the year of 2012. In the year of 2013, they have introduced Amazon Elastic Transcoder, Amazon OpsWork, and then Amazon Cloud HSM, Amazon AppStream, Amazon CloudTrail. CloudTrail is important one. Amazon Workspaces also is important. Amazon Kinesis. These are the things they have introduced in the year of 2013. And currently, in 2014 they have added another 239 services. It's called Amazon Cognito. Cognito is very important. Amazon Mobile Analytical is very important, and Amazon Zecalois they have introduced. So if you count that, so each year we have double the services. It's not only 239 services. From that you have to add from 24 plus 48 plus 61 plus 82 plus from 82 they have added the 159. Already 82 services are there. Then you have to add another additional of 159 services, then additional of 280 services, then additional of 239 services they have added in the year of 2014. And last 3 years they have added numerous services. I'll explain in the other slides whenever I have the data. Okay, are you clear on this particular? What are the various services? There are totally 896 services as on 2014 they are released, and they have introduced over 35 major new services, and they have announced 44 price reductions on the cloud computing services. Are you clear how this AWS is rapidly grown from 2018 to and 2014 or 15? Last 2-3 years of data. Any questions on this?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move to the next slide. Okay, now we are going to deeply study about a demo kind of way, or maybe a animation kind of way. We'll see this, how this particular Elasticsearch, or maybe it's not Elasticsearch, it's about the AWS services we are going to build, that we are going to study now. Okay, so before that we'll understand if somebody's, why consumers are adapting the cloud computing. So it will eliminate the waste. It can able to increase the demand and time. You have to put the demand and time. So whenever there is no need to guess the capacity requirement. If somebody want to increase the 1 terabyte to 2 terabyte, simply change the option. I want 2 terabytes. Within a second you will get the elastic capacity of 2 terabytes. That's why their consumers are trying to adapt the cloud computing model. Okay. So now we'll understand broad and deep services support by the any cloud workload. What are the various services people are using? The platform as service, enterprises application service, foundation service, and infrastructure service. What are the 4 or 5 different varieties of cloud computing we discussed before we in the beginning of our webinar sessions. Can somebody describe what are the 5 different cloud computing services are available? What are the 5 different cloud computing services are available?
Infrastructure as a service,
Infrastructure as a services,
Software as a service,
platform as services,
platform,
security as a service,
application as services,
and mobile as a service.
mobile as a services, and security as a services. Totally 5 varieties of cloud computing model is there. Okay, so now we are going to study about infrastructure as services. This infrastructure, regional specific infrastructure. Each region they have their own data center. That region data center you can able to utilize, and they have the availability zone. So if in India, they might have in Delhi location or Mumbai location. What about in Chennai location? They have their own zone. So these services, a similar kind of partial infrastructure will be available, but that will keep sync it to your nearest region services. So that's called zone services. So there are availability zone services will connect to your regional services. And CDN is the content delivery network, which is the any content which is available on your server. It is very fast. You can able to access. If it is loading time is 10 seconds, if you put into CDN network, it will be 1 second. The 9 second of time will be reduced with this content delivery network because the contents are synced in the multiple locations of region. If I'm accessing from India, okay, thus the content of my server may be in US server. I have deployed my website in US location server. But if I connected through CDN, the same website will be synced in the multiple location across the many server in the global location. Around 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 servers, the same website will be replicated. So any customer accessing from any country, they can immediately get within a second of time. There is no need of load balancing, or there is no need of loading the site from your original server. That's called CDN, or point of presence and point of presence. And second one is the foundation services. In the AWS, they are providing foundation service like a storage medium, the object block, the capacity of storage, and security access control, networking, computing, VMs, auto scaling, and load balancing. These are called foundational service in the Amazon Web Service. And third thing is very important, AWS is providing, and many companies nowadays they're adapting from the AWS is the infrastructure service as well as the platform as service. And few companies they are adapting the enterprises applications. We'll go by the platform as service now. It is containing the databases of relational database management system, NoSQL, and then in analytical Hadoop clusters, real-time data analytical data services, data warehouses, data workflows, and app services, queuing, orchestration, app streaming, transcoding, emailing, and searching, and deployment side, deployment management, DevOps tools like a Jenkins. All the DevOps tools will be available in the AWS services. Resource templation, usage tracking, monitoring and logging, mobile service as the identity, sync, mobile analytical, notifications. All the services are available as the platform as service. These kind of services are offered by Amazon Web Service in a pay-as-you-go model, in a cloud computing model. And enterprise services, you can able to build a virtual desktop. Many companies, if they want to access the 100 employees are working, they cannot buy for a highest configuration. They can create a smallest virtual desktop. Through that, they can able to access terabytes of hard disk capacity or RAM capacity, whatever they want. They can connect through their Windows operating system or any operating system they like. And collaboration and sharing model of services, enterprise services they are offering. So majorly they are into infrastructure as a service and platform as a service model. Clear on this? Any questions on this? Okay, so now we'll understand the last layer is the AWS global infrastructure. This global infrastructure is the across the countries they have the infrastructure units or data centers. Through that they having the networking and they have the computing power, storage power and database power. On top of that they have the app servers. On top of that they have the deployment and administrative services are they having. Okay, so this is called region. If anybody is having these 10 regions, they're having this particular infrastructure, right? The same kind of infrastructure they are available in the US, North America, and then the UK region, Europe region, Japan, and then India, and then Singapore and Australia. So these are the different regions. They have their own regional based services. Clear on this?
Yes.
Now we'll understand about availability zone. Okay, these zones are if any independent designed for independent failure zone. Okay, it is physically separated with the typical metropolitan region. For example, if Mumbai region is got failure, what will happen for entire India? If whole region of UK is failure on the main server, what will happen then? That's why they divide into the failure independent failure zone. Okay, it's called zone model. These zones are like a backup or it's like a syncing your entire web services will be zone services. It's called zone services will be available in the typical metropolitan region. Same kind of regional services will be available in zone based services also. Dinesh, are you clear
So
on the
there
flow?
is any common point? Is there any common point in disaster? Something you have said,
Yes.
like disaster recovery and this.
It's a recovery for the main region.
Okay.
Does it have a DR setup?
So this available zone has the multiple available zone. We can, for example, in US available zone, we can make it as a one main server, and other region like a UK region has the one of your disaster recovery zone also. Zone to zone, you can able to perform the DR cycle. Disaster recovery, it's a if any failure is happened or any natural disaster happened for that country, your server may not work, right? During that time, the across the global region, it's like a business continuity services, BCP related stuff. The people need to work on 24/7, right? So that's why the disaster recovery they will set in the different countries. Next one is the edge location. The edge location is the one of the ways of the content delivery. It's called CDN, Cloud Front CDN, Content Delivery Network. And also it supports the Route 53. It's called DNS infrastructure. I'll explain about Route 53 in a detailed way when we are moving to the next slide. Okay, from some few slides later. So now we have to understand only the first thing is region, availability zone, and edge region. These three things you have to understand very clearly. Are you clear on this? Dinesh, are you clear on this edge location and then the zone?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now we'll understand about first thing on the cloud computing on the networking side. It's called virtual private cloud. It's called VPC. Okay, virtual private cloud. What are the different cloud models we discussed before we starting the AWS? Can somebody describe? There are three models we discussed.
Private,
Public,
One is a
hybrid,
private
private, and
cloud,
hybrid.
public cloud, and then hybrid cloud.
hybrid.
Right? So this particular networking model, web service, Amazon Web Service is offering private cloud model also, public cloud model also. They are offering hybrid cloud model also. All the model they are offering. So virtual private cloud is a private isolated sections of AWS cloud. It is like useful for your virtual network. Clear on this? This infrastructure only your company can use. And then Route 53. It's called domain name system. Route 53 is highly available and scalable domain name system. Okay, so any kind of services you want to offer through that, through the networking way, this Route 53 will be useful for your any services you are going to offer or any service you are going to consume. So this is called domain name system, scalable domain name system. That's called Route 53. It is extremely reliable and cost effective. It is majorly useful for your AWS services, allowing for front loading balancer and S3 and EC2 that we'll detailedly discuss about how to integrate, what is the Route 53, all about we'll discuss. So first you understand this 4 point. You have a region, you have AWS global infrastructure, you have region, you have availability zone and edge location, and then you have to understand the virtual private cloud. There is a cloud computing model is a AWS is having the all the cloud computing model, and one of the services is called virtual private cloud. Virtual private cloud, what is the usage of private cloud? Only the company, whatever the service they are getting, only those services offered for only your company. That cannot be accessible by any other company. That's called private cloud. It is costly. Okay. Now we'll understand about EC2. EC2 is very, very important. It's called Elastic Cloud Compute. Okay. So Elastic Compute Cloud is the one of the basic stuff. It will provide the many cluster computing. So we are studied about the clusters, right? The blade server, all these things, right? So EC2 is the basic unit of compute capacity. That's range of CPU, memory, local hard disk, the capacity of all these things. Those is called Elastic Compute Cloud. Clear on this? So you have your own system administrator. They'll do the networking, they'll do the CPU, they'll do the memory, they'll do the hard disk, all these things, right? These are available in the Elastic Cloud Computing. There is no need to do any kind of investment. Simply pay for $0.002 per hour. Okay, per day it will make $2 only for your entire usage of your computing memories or local hard disk capacity based on your normal demand. You can able to scale from the $0.02 per hour. Clear on this? What is EC2? Elastic Computing Cloud.
Yes.
Okay. So in the EC2, you can able to scalable. You can do the full control. Completely, you have the root access, administrative rights, and also it will be provided in firewall control and security group. And you can able to monitor what is happening on this computer, who is accessing, and also on demand you can able to reserve or increase the whatever the capacity you want, and you can do the VMs import images based on your EC2. You can just take the backup of your VMs, and then later you can reload to when you are coming back to the when you are purchasing one more time the EC cloud computing, the same VMs can be reloaded. So next thing we have to understand the instant type. Okay, the EC2, the computing HP, the particular EC2, you can do the memory capacity up to 250 GBs of capacity. Okay, the scalability is very, very huge. Okay, you can able to increase the capacity of processing core, the virtual core. Normally in your local server you may have a 2-core process, 4-core, 8-core process, right? But in the Elastic Search Computing, the Elastic Computing Core cloud model, you can able to increase to 256 core of computing virtual core also. You can able to do that. And SSD is one of the solid state drive. It is similar to our hard disk, but it is bit like a RAM model. It can able to process very fast. It is like a RAM model. It is stored in the locally in the RAM, like a RAM. That's called SSD hard disk, solid state disk. Clear on this? How much of the memory core it can able to expand or scalable in the instance time? on EC2. This is on EC2.
Mani, Lakshman here. I can yep. Can you give some sample where this much high capacity computers or RAM being used?
Sure, we'll build that. I'll tell you about that. Okay, thanks for the question. Okay, now we will understand more into the C3 instance, server capacity, GPU. GPU is the right now. Be aware of CPU, right? GPU is now it's a new concept, which is the graphical processing unit, where anybody is processing large size of images, graphical animations. Those things they have to use for GPUs. Nowadays, all the computing powers are they are using GPUs only, not the CPUs. CPU is no longer available. For after a few years later, all the computing will be happen through the GPUs. That's very high-end processing, high performance through NVIDIA. NVIDIA. So the GPU is the graphical processing units, like a CPU. So now we are doing the auto scaling. We'll try to build one auto scaling. So auto scaling is one of the way of you can expand or resize the computer cluster based upon the demand. Okay, if you are having 10 computer, you want to build another 5 more computer. It is very simple. You simply go and log in your account, just add 5 node. Automatically it will be added to your network. Okay, that's called auto scaling. The next one is the elastic load balancer. In the EC2, not only they are offering for the cloud computing of the hard disk or CPU or RAM or core computing, they are offering the elastic load balancing, which will create the multiple availability zone where each continental or each country, when they are accessing your services, it will do the load balancing services on your, automatically do the load balancing services. It's called elastic load balancing. This is one of the type of services they are offering. The next one is the elastic block store. The elastic block store is the one of the new type of services will able to mount on EBS services volume from 1 GB to 1 terabytes of size. The block can be used for any kind of high performance storage devices. It is mount as a drive instant temporary storage kind of way. You can able to mount it to any kind of local process of block storage. Rather you're storing in the main storage, you can able to mount the elastic block storage. Okay, it is available and replicated within availability zone. It is increase your performance in a high range. It's called elastic block store. Next one is EC2 we studied, and we are studying about the now S3. S3 is also another important understanding for required on the storage media. This S3 is offering up to 5 terabytes per object. When a single object, you can store 5 terabytes of capacity, and it is having the 99.9 durability of object and unlimited storage of any type of object. You can able to store up to the length of 5 terabytes per object. You can also expand it to any number of terabytes or petabytes of volumes of size. You can able to you name the whatever the size, they will provide that infrastructure. Normally one single object also can store for up to the 5 terabytes of size. Okay, that's called S3. Clear on this S3? Any question on S3?
Yes, clear.
Okay, now we are moving to the Glaciers. Okay, the Glaciers is one of the low-cost services. It's a nominally startup companies or a mid-level company. They normally prefer this kind of Glaciers. That's a low-cost storage services. It's secure, durable, and you can have the backups and accuracy is possible. For 1 GB of cost per month is 0.01 rupees. That means dollars for this 1 GB capacity per month. There is no upfront commitment. You can just quit whenever you want. For 1 month you want to use, you can use it. And durable, it's same as the 99.99% durable. It is almost 100%. And sometimes they are putting the disclaimer, any kind of disaster is happened, because of that 0.99 is there, they are putting that. Durability as S3. And there are these devices, these storages can be able to access through APIs. That is the beauty of this particular AWS. You can able to access your storage through APIs. You can able to access in import, export, whatever you want to do, the mass media things you can do through AWS. It's called, normally the glaciers are used for the low cost storage. 10 GB if you want to get processed, you can just buy for less than $1 of time for a month. You can be able to use this 10 GB. No need to do an investment of your own money. So next one is the RDS. RDS is one of the very important stuff in the Amazon cloud database. So RDS is their own database, Amazon RDS. It is their own database service, their own relation database services. They offer many database services, platform as service. This is called platform as service. You can able to create MS SQL table, you can create MS SQL server, you can able to PostgreSQL, you can do the Oracle, or any kind of RDBM stuff you want to create. It is possible through the platform as service, through the Amazon RDS service. Clear on this? So next, we are going to understand about the CloudFront. CloudFront is a very important concept, and somebody is understanding about AWS. CloudFront is the worldwide distributed networking. Okay, if you're having one server in US, but your customers are available across 190 countries. Anybody accessing from India, anybody accessing from UK, anybody accessing from Australia, your server need to be hit to your US server or UK server, right? So the CloudFront is providing the distributed networking. So this low tendency, the high data transforming speed, it is possible through CloudFront CDN network. Okay, through the CDN network. What is CDN network? Can somebody tell me about what is CDN? Content
Delivery service.
Content Delivery Network, CDN, Content Delivery Network. CloudFront is one of the distributed networking. Under the CloudFront only the CDS service is coming. So EC2, what is EC2? EC2 is offering CPU, Elastic Cloud. So this EC2 is offering your CPU, offering the storage, it is offering the RAM capacity, it is offering network. These are the services are provided. What is S3? S3 is offering the storage media. It is up to one single object as the 5 petabytes of storage you can able to do. CloudFront is the one of the Glacier is the one of the low cost storage, and CloudFront is the one of the content delivery network. It will distribute your content to the various region, various zone. The content can be locally can be able to access. No need to go for your main server. So it will be load balance your n number of customer. For example, here they specify New York, Paris, and London. Any consumer, if each country they're accessing 10 lakhs customer, it will not affect your performance. For whoever is accessing London also, they will get the same performance. Whoever is accessing the New York also, they'll get the same performance. In Paris also, they'll get the same performance. They're accessing from India also, they'll get the same performance. That's called distributed networking, load balancing, and content delivery network. Clear on this technology? Shall we move to the next slide?
Mani, here.
Yes.
Actually, you mentioned that CDN, right? So here we are going to store the data in multiple across this site. So it's kind of duplicate information. We are storing all the various sites, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's like a duplicated information only, but it will automatically sync every whatever the time limit you are setting. It will sync from your main server to from your performance. So that will balance it out. It will not duplicate. It will just sync from the original copy. It's called syncing technology.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not physically stored in that particular server.
No, no.
Right?
It will not store in the, it is a content delivery network will provide you the content from the main server. For example, I'm just going to the Amazon.com. One second, I'll just show you that. For example, I'm going to Flipkart.com. Okay. If you see over there, okay, you can see that the images when it is loading, right? It's little bit of blur is happening, right? So now there is no images.
Yep.
Can you able to see that?
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
kind of blur is happening, right? You know why it is happening?
For loading the images, it's taking time.
No, no, no. It's not like that. So,
Maybe.
for example, each image may be high definition images. These contents are stored in their different server. Okay. For example, if I'm just putting the electronic, the same level of time need to happen. For example, when you see that Flipkart.com, you can see that the little bit of blur is happening when it is loading, right? So the contents are delivered in a distributed way
Yep.
across the region. When each consumer, when I'm searching the Amazon or Flipkart.com, similar way, 10 lakh customers, they will be opening this site. Okay. If I'm opening from any other normal network without CDN, this page will take me 10 to 20 seconds of time to load this page. So now they are split into the single image into various different distributed networking. The same Redmi Note, this particular image will be divided into multiple small number of pieces of image and will be distributed into multiple servers across the global location. Okay, if I'm accessing this particular content from India region, it will take these small pieces of images from the multiple zone, from Chennai region, from Mumbai region, from wherever the network is available, it will hit to the content delivery network. This image content will be split into multiple stuff, multiple small size of chunks, then it will correlate and then it will provide the content delivery within a millisecond of time. So normally previously what will happen, this single image will load from the server, the whole images will load, right? But when after content delivery, it will split into small pieces of information and put into multiple content delivery network across the zone. Okay.
Okay.
For
So
example,
suppose if that particular image, there are multiple servers are there.
so this
The
one,
data might be stored in.
for example, here http images.mydomain.logo. The even a single logo, what it will do, it will the original server I may be deployed in US server, but I am accessing from India. My CDN network will be available from across the region. This logo.png file will be sliced into smaller of chunks and then it will be distributed across the small pieces of blocks in the various network in the geographical location. Whichever the network is available for me to fast loading, that local network, that will provide you my content for loading the page. That's called content delivery network. From our main server, I have replications happening, syncing is happening, my original content having multiple replicated. Wherever I am accessing the zone, that zone will provide me the content. If I'm accessing from India, from my India zone server, my original server may be in US, but my India server will provide me the content of my the networks, the content of my files or whatever the content delivery network. It will provide me anything, whatever the content I want. Clear on this? Shall we quickly move to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay, that's called CloudFront. It's called CloudFront. CloudFront is very important concept on the AWS. Sorry, AWS as well as the E3 as well as EC2, S3, all those things. So now we are moving to the Elastic MapReduce. So in the MapReduce, you can able to perform big data operations. You can add n number of clusters. You can add Hadoop clusters. Integrate with the S3. S3 is a storage media. DynamoDB. and you can leverage your Hive big analytical script. You can do the many kind of integration of Hadoop and big data through the Elastic MapReduce services. You can able to operate any kind of business big data services through app service of Elastic MapReduce. Clear on this? You can connect to a relational database man, you can connect to the S3 storage, you can connect to the EC2, you can do the Hadoop operations. Clear on this? Shall we move to the next slide?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. The next one is we have the deployment administrations. Here, the AWS is offering deployment applications, many things. So it's called Beanstalk. Okay, it's called Elastic Beanstalk. There you can do the deployments of .NET application, PHP application, Java application, Python, Ruby, whatever you name that platforms are already available. You can simply go and deploy your applications. Okay, so that's one click of deployment from Eclipse or Visual Studio, what or Git. You can just simply specify the deployment. The deployment will be done on the cloud model. Clear on this Elastic Beanstalk?
Yes.
Okay, so next one is the cloud formation. The deployment admin location, admin way. It will create the cloud formation. It's called stack. Okay, automated creation of stack will be scripting framework for AWS resources. There you can do the many kind of scripting activities. So for the deployment activity, for this is like a coding. Okay, coding you can do through the AWS. It's called cloud formations. You can do a coding, you can do reporting activities, you can do the many backend, what is the operation you want to perform, you can do that. So the cloud formation. Okay. So there are other services also offering by the cloud, which is the software development. You can do the software development also in AWS. Access management through the deployment tools. Those are available through AWS. I'll just Prabhakar, can you go on? Okay. So whatever we now understand about the ES2, S3, CloudFront, Hadoop network, what are the other things we studied? So these are the main things we studied, right? Now we are moving for the next level of study on the AWS. Okay. So EBS, I'll tell you about, it's a EBS also storage media. It's a high performance block storage. Okay. 1 GB to 1 terabytes level, you can able to do that. Now we understand virtual private cloud. How to build a virtual private cloud. Okay. So now understand you have a corporate data center. In the corporate center, what are the data centers will be available? You have the server, you have the blade server, you have networking. 10 software engineer need to work on the support engineer need to work on for managing this stuff, and that's called corporate data centers, right? They'll do all the infrastructure side. But you can do the same activity when you're just putting a simple login password. You can get that same services through the Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. Now, are you able to understand what is a data center and then Amazon VPC, Virtual Private Cloud? Any questions on this?
Yeah.
Whatever the operation you are performing for on corporate level of data center, same thing you can able to perform through the Amazon Virtual Private Cloud.
Hi, my name is Gaurav.
Yeah,
I
Gaurav.
just have one question about the VPC.
Yeah.
Like whenever we're creating a VPC, it's per region wise, per availability zone wise, or we can include many availability zone in one VPC, or we can include many regions in one VPC. How it will work?
You can define what region you want. You can which region you want the application. You can define yourself. I want regions of US region. I want regions of Singapore region. You can define that. You can define the zone. You can define the all the things You can able to define. You can define the edge, which edge you want to be there on the server. You can define that.
Okay. Is it possible to create VPC in two regions?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is possible.
The same VPC we can create in two regions.
Yes, but you will have a different cost.
Okay.
Internally, they'll calculate in a different way. They will provide you the different cost.
Okay. How the companies are using this? How they are creating the VPCs? They are using. They are doing the their replication. They are doing of the VPCs, or how they are normally going with that?
Normally, for any kind of web services they are trying to offer, they are putting into the Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. From that, through that, they are accessing their services. They are selling their services for many companies also. So during that time, they are not preferring this corporate data center, rather than they want to put it into a cloud model of web services, because whatever the services they build, it is a low cost services, but they want to create a high demand of profit they want to look forward. If they again invested for data center also, they'll not much gain, they will not get that through that services. That's why they're going for virtual private cloud. Due to security reason, they want to go for a virtual private cloud, and there are public clouds are available. And normally very secure service they are trying to utilize through Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, whatever the operate service corporate services they are offering, that same thing they are getting on the low cost services. That's why they're moving forward, investing rather 10 crores, they are just paying for 10 lakhs, they're getting the same service.
Okay. All right. Got it. Thanks.
Okay. So we'll understand this slide a little later, so that we'll come back. Okay, now we'll understand about the enterprises architecture. Okay, so if anybody is defining the VPC, whatever I'm trying to explain you today, it's just a foundation level. Okay, don't assume that I have explained all these things. It is a foundation level, but even though this foundation level, I'm going to clearly explain all the foundation level. Okay, so new enterprises IT network architecture, which will be consider you are in a corporate data center. On the left side, you can see that corporate data centers are available, corporate headquarters are available, and there they're connecting the customer gateway, right? So if any customer, if you consider the company, global level company, they might have hundreds of customers, thousands of customers. They might build hundreds of applications, right? Each customer will be having a different account. They belong to different account. They belong to different region. They belong to their customer maybe in a different region. So the corporate data center gateway is totally different way of concept. When it is coming to the AWS, they have some services they can keep in their cloud corporate data center, and some services they can connect to the AWS service. It's called availability zone virtual private cloud. They can do the private subnet cloud, and the routers and the IP configuration can be done. Few things they can do it in a private subnet, and then few things they can do the public subnet. The both things, if it is combined, it's called hybrid cloud. This availability zone 2 and then availability zone 1. Consider availability zone 1 is the private cloud networking, and availability zone 2 is the public cloud networking. And you have the S3 is the storage, and then SQ, SES, SNS, SWS, AS and region, and Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk, what did you discuss? For a deployment side, for a .NET application, Java application, or whatever the application you want, you can do the deployment activity in a single click. And SimpleDB and DynamoDB of database services can able to get through that. So this is how these IT infrastructure they'll define on the AWS, on private subnet and the public subnet. Okay. Shall we move to the next slide? Need to rush up that. Okay. So now we'll understand a few other things. Okay. Now let's try to build one system in AWS. Okay. It's a very interesting stuff we are going to learn now. Please listen carefully. So now we are going to understand what are the things we studied so far. We studied about EC2 first one, right? What is EC2? It will provide you the CPU, hard disk, the core computing part of 20 core or 40 core or 80 core or 256 core, whatever the things will become. It's a web server that's called Amazon EC2, Elastic Cloud 2, right? That one first thing for any deployment you require. Second things you might be required for database server. It's called Amazon RDS, Relational Database Services. So next thing is through connecting through web service and data server, you require an elastic IP errors. Okay, so for load balancing and all. So now consider you have your own website, mywebsite.com. You are having the Amazon Route 53. This Route 53 mainly useful for your DNS operation. Okay, domain name system operation, domain name service operations. This DNS Route 53 can be set up. After that, you are putting your Amazon EBS. What is the EBS? It's a block size, right? Elastic block size. It will be work as a temporary storage mechanisms of your operations, right? EBS. Once that web server is having the EBS, you will have the elastic load balancing services. How you are adding your services and what scenario you will add. For simple website, how many web services you can able to consume? You have your SQL server in the database server, the web server inside the load balancing is there, and Route 53 is there for your DNS routing. Now we'll understand about how to configure. Okay, so this is a kind of graphical user interface. You can just go to the UI and then you can just put into how much of the capacity you want, configuring the health checkup. All this you can able to do through the graphical user interface way on your login ID. So now you can consider how this one web service is not working on a particular region. You don't need to worry about that. So the AWS will have the backup of replicate in the different zone that will automatically pick up and it will keep check your health checkup. If one node is not working or one zone is not working, it will act for the immediately for acting for the next zone it will perform. Clear on this?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So now we are going to build the Amazon RDS multi-AZ. Okay. So multi-AZ, which is the another service, it's called one service you are available, and then it's like similar to our disaster recovery, right? It will keep synchronize and replicate. Okay. The same website, I'm going to do it in an Amazon RDS multi-AZ standby. If any problem is happen on my databases. Okay, this A to Z B will be provide you the zone A and zone B. The zone B will have a replicator of your data. Every millisecond it will do the replications of synchronization replication. So any failure is happen on the databases, it will immediately reroute to your replicated of RDS in the different zone. From that zone your website will be going to perform in an immediate activity. So even if you are for this, you may require a 10 system engineer. If any database failure is happened, they need to look forward, and all those things they need to look forward, right? So there you can automatically have the disaster recovery mode. The zones will be managed so that it will not affect of any of your services. Okay. Once it is done, they have the standby replications. The multiple AZ standby you can able to configure. If one replication is failure of any hardware failure or software failure, automatically it will reroute, and meanwhile it will do another replication will happen on the zone A also. It is like automatically it will do. You no need to do anything. Clear on this?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how to configure the?
Just one thing.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is it also doing the replication on the region wise, or it's only the zone wise?
Come again with question.
It's doing the replication over the zone wise or the region wise.
It is happening on the zone wise.
Okay, is there any possibility to do the region wise application?
Yes, it is possible region wise also. So there they have to check that it's a multi-AZ is the zone wise, whether you want to do the same deployment of the DB configuration. So when you are doing the private cloud networking, during that time you will have a regional wise data service. Okay, that's region specific is more secured one. Okay, When you're doing the public cloud model, you can do it in a low cost way. That's in the zone wise you will do the deployments. Okay, that may be a difference. The multiple A is a deployment will perform the each zone, which zone you want to do the deployment on that zone's DB instance, how much of storage, everything will be configured in the on the particular login page. Next, we are going to build the multiple AZs. So what previously we studied AZB, right? So now we are going to see about multiple AZs. So here you can do the synchronization of multiple web server also. Previously only databases be done, right? Here only we have replicated, synced only the databases. Now we are going to replicate entire web servers also. Okay, that's called multiple AZ. So here I'm going to replicate multiple web server as well as my databases. Both the thing I can able to scalable on my web server as well as the data server. So that my server will never go, even my web service goes down. I have my zone, another zone will react for my web service. Clear on this?
So both of them will operate on the server.
Yes, both of them operate as a web server. If any web server is down, and that's why there is a load balancing process there. They have the load balancing based on your number of customer. If there's somebody is coming 1 lakh customer immediately in the peak hour, it will balance their load, and then it will split into multiple web server, and 2 zones will automatically work for you, and then it will perfectly work for you.
Okay.
Shall we move to the next slide?
Just one thing.
Yeah.
Just one thing. It's doing the balancing on the web server. Is it also? It can also do the balancing on the database server also.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay. Right now it's
Normally,
passive, right?
normally balancing will happen on the web server side only, majorly.
Okay.
So balancing, when the customer is coming first, where they will come, they'll come for hitting the web server only. The load balancing will happen on the web server only, not on the directly in the database server.
Okay.
Database server, your application may hit your database, not the consumer will not hit your database. Via your application, this database server will hit.
Okay.
Clear on this? Shall we move to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are understanding about what is scaling. Okay, scaling is one of the very important concept in the AWS. So now we are going to understand the scaling side. Okay, I have 2 servers this side on the zone 1, and A is at zone B. I have the 2 servers. Now I want to do the scaling of the performance. Okay, that first is web service having 500 GBs of hard disk or 1 terabytes of hard disk. Each web service having 1 terabytes of hard disk. My consumer is moved very drastically. My business is moved across the global location. I need to scale to 10 terabytes of data size. The scaling is within a minute you can do the scaling of, you can able to see monitoring of each and everything, how much of the performance happening, which is the load, how much of load is happening, what is the current storage is happening. Those things you can see. Based on that you can do the increasing the scaling, increasing your capacity. That's called scaling. There is an auto scaling mechanism is there. There scale up and scale down on EC2 capacity. What is EC2? EC2 is our CPU, hard disk, core of your capacity of your computing power. There the auto scaling is based on your usage, you can do the auto scaling. Okay, if it doesn't require for 2 server, you want to remove for 1 server, you can do that auto scaling. Okay, so auto scaling policy will be applied for that based on your load. How much is the capacity? Somebody's peak hour, your peak storage time 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock is required for my 10 terabytes is required during my backup time. During that particular time, you can do the auto scaling policy. Okay, during that time the auto scaling is work. After completing this stuff, and then there is no peak hour from 10 o'clock to morning 6 o'clock, there is no need of this higher capacity, it can be reduced. During that time, you no need to pay for that. It's auto scaling model. Clear on this? During peak hour, you can add some of the additional servers. After peak hour is over, you can reduce the number of servers. That's called auto scaling. Clear on this?
Okay. Yeah, yes.
Okay, unexpected peaks. Okay, expected peaks. So we'll understand about that. So there is a health checkup, and auto scaling is a very important concept in the AWS. So when you're performing any operations in the particular zone, if one thing is failure, it will automatically add the another one. It's an automatic process. Okay, that's why it is more popular. And second thing is you can keep check the health monitoring. Okay, there are many health checkup. The monitoring stuff is available through AWS. You can keep watching what is happening on your server, what is happening your customer. Everything can be watchable through this monitoring tool. It's available already. Some of the most popular business are already available in the AWS stuff. Instagram, they're using AWS. Playfish, Foursquare, Netflix, Pinterest, Tumblr, Yep, then Jungle Disk, Encoding. So these are the many companies. They are Dropbox. Dropbox is under the AWS. Okay. So these are the many companies. They are using the cloud computing. So Samsung, New York Times, Universe, NASA, Adobe, Capgemini, Ericsson, Amazon.com, IBM. So many companies are Autodesk. They're using this particular enterprises level of cloud computing, private clouds, enterprises levels of services through the AWS. Okay. So that's all about the first level understanding about the about AWS side. Any questions so far? The understanding what is the AWS or web scale architecture. I'm just taking the foundation level to understand about that. Are you clear on this?
Yes, fine.
Yes,
Okay.
Manikantan.
We'll move on to the, yeah. Any questions? Okay, I'll quickly show to the another document that will be very useful. So what we understand about EC2, right? What is EC2? What is EC2?
Elastic computing.
Yeah, elastic computing too. That's one provide the core, hard disk, CPU power, computing power, all those things, right? How to configure that? Host
Yes.
computer, auto management information. So regional wise, how to divide, which zone you have to divide, how it is be work on. So in the EC2 or EC3, you are going to work as like an administrator of your whole infrastructure of your entire company. Okay, AWS is very, very important in nowadays, and next 10 years, this AWS technology will be most widely used for all the companies. They have to move to the all the customers. They have to move to the cloud computing model because the cost of the hard disk, the cost of the hardware, and the technology is changing for rather the cost. The technology is changing for every day. Okay, whatever the technology you are buying for today, and then if you are building the infrastructure during after before completing your infrastructure, that technology is out of fashion now. That's why they're moving towards on the cloud computing model because they're building the application for one whole year. When they're building that time, that the capacity may be different. So the scalability is required. So that's why you can able to do the which region you want to create this particular group. You want to go for a US region, or the West region, or the Europe region, Asia Pacific region. All the region you can able to try to provide this particular AWS way. Okay. So this is a very nice book about the AWS, how to do the programming. So we can do the programming also in AWS, and also you can define so many configuration keys, so many configuration you can be able to do through the AWS. You can do the security check, and then you can do the automation activities. All these things you can able to do that. Amazon Machine Image, AMI, so many things you can able to do through these Amazon services. So Amazon is providing many services, and also we'll see about that what are the services we studied. So they are offering how many services? They're offering in 2014 it is around 896 services. Now it is more than 1,000 plus services they're offering on the Amazon cloud computing model of Amazon Web Services model. Clear? Thanks for all. Thanks for understanding about AWS services. If any question, just post to me, then I'll try to answer for that. Okay. Thank you all for joining.
Yes, man.
Thank you, Manikantan.
Thank you.